All right, everyone. We are live at twitch.tv/Roxor098, and I just played a match without realizing that there are some patch notes that we have to talk about. Oh my god. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Rexor, and here we do all things magic and magic Spellslingers. We're live here, and I have a live reaction to the patch notes. Starting to stream after the maintenance, completely not realizing that there are some balance changes, some patch notes, and whatever. And boy, are they wild. So let's go ahead and take a look. As we're getting to that, like, comment, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. All right, so let's try to read this as fast as we can. So excited to announce to bring you full patch of awesomeness and goodies today. Some bug fixes. We have the biggest round of balance changes ever. Sweet. While we have been overall pleased by the meta, some green aggressive decks are overperforming. That makes a lot of sense. Again, Drizzt, even after the nerf, was still really strong, and there's been a whole bunch of planeswalkers that just feel completely underpowered. So we want to take a bit of the power away from these dominant green builds and redistribute that to the other aggro decks. Perfect. Love it. In addition, we want to improve the competitive balance among all Spellslingers. Love to hear this. Now, I love to hear this, but let's see if their changes actually make the cards better. Let's see if their changes actually accomplish the goals that they're setting out. To make sure that they all have more of a fighting chance in the arena. Yep, a sufficient number of a significant number of buffs to make some of our less competitive slingers. Love it. All right, so cards and gameplay changes. So Ingrath already was a planeswalker that everyone was like, this needs a buff now. It feels, excuse me, so underpowered, just doesn't really do what you or doesn't perform as well as you would expect an aggro deck to perform, particularly with an ability that rewards you for being aggressive, for dealing damage. So let's take a look at the buffs. So we got a buff to the signature card, the Death Raider, going from 4/1 to a 4/3. That's a big buff. Before, this was a very fragile card and pretty underwhelming when compared to the other creatures in the game. So getting that nice buff, making it more easy to survive. The trample body will be nice. So yeah, this card is guaranteed to be a 2-for-1 at the least, and now there's a possibility that it might be even a 3-for-1 or even worse. So awesome, even better depending on which side you're on. Shipwrecker here. Shipwrecker was being completely excluded from a lot of decks. And you know, you can kind of ask why that might be. But yeah, the answer is just like underpowered. So going to a 2/2 here, so it's kind of on par with the average one drop in the format. You know, the familiar being the kind of generic test 1 mana 2/2. So see, Ingrath struggles to maintain board presence, low toughness, right? So it seems too vulnerable to sweepers. So they're increasing the toughness of the Death Raider, okay? And also has a hard time trading. The Shipwrecker has a hard time trading, making it tough to include in decks, as you've seen. So sweet. Hopefully that will make Ingrath more popular. But looking at this, I actually don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, like, the Death Raider is slightly better. Like, and yeah, you might end up trading with this more often than not, but I don't see that actually improving the quality of Ingrath. But maybe we'll test it out tonight. Maybe we'll see. All right, let's see. Ashiok, there's going to be a change to the actual Ashiok Nightmares. So after you add a card to your deck that did not start in your deck, or play one of those cards, attach them to the top 15. Okay. So it looks like it's going, yeah, attach one to the top 15. Okay, and then extract if you're going to 2 mana. That's crazy. That's a crazy nerf. This was previously a really good turn 1 play, and now it's just kind of relegated to kind of almost not a bad anticipate, but like a pretty mediocre one at that. So Ashiok presents a unique play experience that many players enjoy, but Ashiok has been able to shore up their matchups against aggro better than we expected. Yeah, the life and, you know, all of that stuff infest, right? All of these things. So you need to be more careful with the power level of this slinger because it has such a strong matchup as the game goes on. So we are weakening Ashiok's early game by slowing down the speed in which nightmares pop up. Sure. This seems fine. Again, Ashiok's kind of been a dominant planeswalker in the meta in the game for a good portion. I think it's okay to kind of dial down the power level and see where that takes the game. All right, Chandra. Chandra is a good one. Wow, this is crazy. Wait, what? This is actually kind of nuts. Fire Elemental gaining an additional point of health. It says the Elemental has been too easy to trade with. Hopefully this will allow it to trade positively with some 1-drops. But also at the same time, you just buffed the Shipwrecker. So like that's going to trade with it. And there are going to be a bunch of other 1-mana 2/2s, or 1-mana. We have a 1-mana 3/3, the Channeler of Might or whatever. I don't really see that helping out Chandra. Personally, I think that's a pretty laughable buff. But at the same time, I don't know if Chandra really needs one. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. Let's take a look at Domri here. So Domri, I don't know. I kind of felt like Domri was okay where he was at, but let's see what they do. After every 5 creatures you summon, add a Warbor to your hand. Now adds a Warbor after debut ability is resolved. What does that do? Also, it's going to 1 mana. Okay, so this is a nerf. Interesting. I didn't think he needed to be nerfed. Warbors have been able to apply more pressure than we like for aggro Domri decks. This will slow down the ability for Domri to go wide. He also adjusted the timing on his special ability to work better with other cards. Okay, so that seems to not really be the debut effect. Seems to just be like just a standard change adjustment to help with the flow of the game. Not really a major thing, but the Warbor is going to 1 mana, maybe just being too free to just get a 3/2 for free. So we'll see. Okay, there's going to be a change to the Drizzt ability. Okay. Oh, just going down 1 health. Okay, that's fine. Just has been in the better spot since our last update and has been in a better spot and is no longer dominating the ladder, but with the goal of balancing aggro decks and weakening, we'd like him to be a little bit easier to handle. Okay, so reducing that health seems fine. All right, Gideon, another planeswalker that I kind of feel like is in a fine spot, but I don't mind it getting a little help. So looks like we have Ardent Supporter gaining an additional power, just being a better 1-drop. Before it did feel kind of weak, and you were kind of just playing it to get the 2-drop. Yep. So now he's good as to get into fight. Nihiri was another card that I was like, yeah, this kind of needs some buff. It just like feels really weird. All right, so starting off with 2 power, +2/+0, really good. So if you've been with us since our soft launch, you'll know that Nihiri has bounced back and forth between a 1 power and a 2 power blade. Now that the overall power of the Spellslingers is higher than it used to be, we feel safe to revert it back. Okay, so this is interesting. So I have not been aware of this. I was not aware that it used to be 2 power. That if that's the case, that does make some sense, and I like that. And it's good that they're now showing that they're kind of okay reverting some nerfs. Kind of dialing things back, so I like that. With this buff here, you should be able to prey on the slower decks and provide aggro decks with another option. Cool. I like that. So maybe we'll play some Nihiri and see how that goes. Vivian's Arcbow. Yeah, so Vivian, we were just talking about, had won one of the recent tournaments, and there's been a lot showing up recently. So Arcbow going down to 2 charges, no other changes. So just ends game quickly with evasive upgrades, making the game feel non-interactive. Yeah, this is I love hearing this, love seeing this. Just felt like you couldn't really do anything. So reducing this down to 2 charges means that they're less likely. They have less upgrades to begin with, but then also are less likely to hit these kind of sneak and flyings to close out the matchup. So yeah, they took the words right out of my mouth. I read this after I said that, so awesome. Love to see that. Love to see that. 10 out of 10. All right. Magnum Opus going to 3 mana. This I feel like is pretty good. This is not a card that has been particularly dominant in the Raw decks, and anytime my opponent plays it, it just feels pretty weak. It's going down to 3 mana, just making it a little bit more efficient. So now the deck's in check, right? The overall strategy is in fact, the strategy is imbalance. Chaos Lightning being kind of a more late game card, and now a card like Magnum Opus is kind of the thing that they're playing on 3 most of the time. So I like that. Ooh, Teferi. I'm interested to see because I thought Teferi was pretty good. And I enjoyed playing it, and if it receives a buff, we're probably going to play it more. Let's see. Oh my god, that is so good. That's exciting. Oh, that's so good. All right, so Outwit now drawing you an extra card. So every third trap you play draws you 2 cards, which means that each trap is essentially 2/3 of a card. Yeah. Oh my god, I love this change. All right, we're gonna play Teferi now. All right, screw this. We're playing Teferi. That feels so good. Yeah, Teferi playing a lot of traps like that strategy, that game plan was really working. It just felt like the payoff for doing it just seemed kind of lackluster. You drew 1 card and just felt super underwhelming. This is super exciting. I'm actually really excited to play Teferi now. Let's see it. Various staff, draw a trap from your deck, draw a random. Oh, it's being changed to draw a random trap of any color. Draft, excuse me. Says Teferi has struggled to beat mid-range decks and also keep up with other control decks like Jason Ashiok. Instead, the amount of card draw on Outwit should accelerate his mid-game and provide him with card advantage to go toe-to-toe with slower decks. In addition, changing a step to draft reduces the sequencing issues of drawing it after exhausting all the traps in your deck. Yeah, this was an issue. So some decks were only playing one of these because there was so much of a liability to draw all your traps and then draw this. Says also gives Teferi more surprises to pull out. Yeah, I mean, that's nice as well. This should make Teferi more fun to play and harder to predict when playing against. Love this. I'm super excited. This is the first thing we're going to do once we are finished here. Ooh, class cards. Okay, so class cards have been really popular in the meta. Pretty much so many decks, I'd say like 80 to 90% of decks are playing them ubiquitously even. So let's see what we got here. Oath of the Paladin, going from 5 to 4 mana. Oh, so this is getting a buff? What? Let's see. It takes courage to cast this for 5 mana because many times you won't be able to play a creature to the board as well because you need a lot of creatures to make the level 3 card sing. We'd like to make it easier to cast. Sure, okay, and this was definitely like one of the weaker ones. This payoff was also like, you know, it's still powerful, but yeah, it is expensive. We'll see how this goes. I'm kind of nervous about this because this is also a further rest of game effect for stats, but we'll see. Path of the Barbarian. Okay, so we're getting a buff to the artifact that you get, and a buff to the last one as well. Wow. Barbarian class has probably been the weakest level 1 of any of the classes, or has probably. We want to put it more power level into the axe to give it a chance to stick around. In addition, similar to the aura, we want to give these non-board affecting effects, mana reduction cost because they are pricey. That kind of makes sense. So for this game, after one more, yeah, this seems fine. Like this also seems okay. Again, we'll see what these do to shake up the meta. I mean, this makes sense. Like they want to do, these are typically the ones that the aggro decks play. They're trying to buff aggro decks, and so yeah. So both of these, classes, excuse me, need to be able to do that. All right, let's see. School of the Wizard, receiving a couple of nerfs. I like this. So here, not really changing too much though, I'll say. So familiar, changing the discount to 1 instead of 2. This feels really good. The discount felt really effective at letting you play this and playing your interactive spells, your draw spells afterwards. So reducing that by 1 still feels good, right? But maybe just kind of lessens that effect. And again, it still gives you that early blocker, which I feel like is pretty relevant. And then the elemental going down 1 point of toughness, probably making it easier to interact with. It's currently an so in addition, bouncing in is ineffective strategy, so we'd like to open up counterplay, make it easier to remove. Yeah, so all of this makes sense. Hey, what's up going on, Trasco? We're discussing the updates here. Scour the Void going to 6 mana. This card provides a lot of value in a lot of different decks, but it's especially powerful in Ashiok. Moving this up. Okay, so they're nerfing this because of Ashiok, even though this is really Ashiok is really the only deck that it sees play. Personally, I thought this card was fine. I guess I never really played it too much when I was playing Ashiok, but this also was a late game card anyway, so you're typically not even playing this on turn 6, but okay. All right, here's some of the big ones. So Tajik going down to a 5/3. Oh, but then also, so before it was all other creatures, now it protects all friendly creatures, which will now include himself. So Tajik had a incredibly tricky bug to fix that meant that he sometimes protected him, sometimes but not always protected himself. While working to fix the bug, we decided we'd actually like the effect to be more universal. So yep. And then so we got a fairer version of the card, squashing any bugs related to it once and for all. They don't mention that they are nerfing the toughness, but that kind of upsets me because the Drizzt players played this because it was a 4/5 with haste. That was legendary. The 3 toughness makes this card very, very, very weak. The attack part of this card really did not come up often. I don't think there was any time where I've had this card save me from a trap, or my opponent played some sort of damage spell next turn and would have wiped my board otherwise. I've never seen this card do much. Sorry, the attack trigger do much. So I would have liked to hear some form of explanation for why the toughness was reduced or the stats were changed, but oh well. Stormseeker getting a point of toughness. This card felt incredibly weak, so that's good to see. Okay, so hold on. I will get to this. I will get to this. Valuable weapon against control decks. Okay, cool. Great. What the heck is this? What is this? Oh, they're being reduced in stats. Okay. I guess that's better, but what? Okay, so every single Titan is being reduced in 1 mana cost, so down to 6 mana, but all of them are being set to 6/6. So it's funny because oh no, actually all of them. Yeah, I was about to be like, some of them are now kind of similar to what they are in Magic. Now all of them have the exact same stat line as they do in actual factual Magic the Gathering here. All 6 mana 6/6s with some sort of good debut and attack effect. And many of them are essentially identical to what they are as well, right? Frost Titan, Sun Titan, Grave Titan, and they're all the same. Very cool. So I actually kind of like that. Yeah, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's read the explanation here. It says decks are generally skipping over Titans for other finishers. This is true. I've noticed this. I was kind of wondering why that was, but yeah. In addition, there is a dearth of 5 and 6 mana creatures currently seeing play. Moving the Titans down the curve allows mid-range decks to be more dangerous to control decks and go over the top of aggro decks a bit easier. These are exciting cards for players to open and craft, and we want them to live up to their potential in game. Love this. Okay, I know I was like really scared of this in the beginning, but I'm okay with this. Yeah, very confused about why they never saw any play. I guess 7 mana was a bit too much. Personally, I think 7 mana 8/8 was really strong, but okay. So yeah, so now making mid-range decks more powerful. Dang, cool. And yeah, definitely like that was my experience as well, where I like opened up, I think like a Sun Titan or something, or a Primeval Titan, and I was like, cool, what decks are playing it? None. And I was just like, ah, great. I would love to play this card, but there's no decks using them to full effect. So cool, cool, cool. Team captain buffs itself. Cool. Has been pushed out by faster decks. Yeah, I mean, this just seemed like really weak. It attacks once and then dies. So buffing itself kind of might make it really strong though. I guess if it attacks twice, it's a 6/5. So maybe that's okay. Cool. All right, here's the one that makes me sad. Krozikar is being reduced in 1 power. The Charm Ray no longer affects the cost of set traps. Okay, so Krozikar was just all around too good. So we're knocking off a power. This makes the power stealing Ray more relevant and makes Krozikar less valuable when he gets into close quarters combat. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. It makes me sad. Personally, I thought the card was fine. It's a one of. It's also, you know, once it, honestly, I would have said get rid of ward. I would have been fine with them getting rid of ward on it. That would have made card a little better. But anyways, that's kind of sad. Drizzt decks are probably no longer playing. I don't think any deck plays this now, to be honest. It just seems so weak. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. The Charm Ray was causing a bug where it would change the cost of traps. It will now ignore armed traps, but you can. Okay, so, this is kind of interesting. So if your opponent is like a trap deck, you can kind of like snipe things that aren't the traps. If you think that they have a trap set, I don't know. Like if they have 2 cards in hand and you think they have a trap, right? Then you snipe the other card guaranteed, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, if this prevents a bug, then by all means. Caller of the Cursed going up 2 power. So this is a fun combo card. I don't think it's very fun at all, but whatever. It's hard to recur due to it, but it is hard to recur due to its low power. How does that have anything to do with its low power? How does that have anything to do with recurring? By increasing by recurring, you can now more likely get it back from the graveyard. In addition, with the 4 mana dude, the zombie guy. In addition, now has a board presence that's more in line with its effective cost. Yeah, I think that's more relevant. Honestly, I'm fine with this. Yeah, most of the time you're just like trading off with this, or you're killing it before it attacks. Sacred Sanctum. Before this game starts, heal yourself for 2. Starting turn 5, you have a chance to heal yourself for 2. If so, this turn's mana gem is empty. Okay, so this is kind of big for the Nissa decks. So the Sanctum provided a massive amount of life as the game goes on, keeping decks without board presence afloat, reverting it to its previous version from the beta by making it heal 2 at the start and then a heal 2 for each trigger. This makes an interesting choice against aggro decks while also reducing the total healing. Never fear though, as instead of getting no mana, the mana gem is empty instead of you getting zero mana gems. Okay, so this still is probably good enough for the Nissa decks. Because one of the things was like if you get the trigger, then you missed your land or missed your mana. And that was kind of sad. So this is still probably good for the Nissa OTK deck, but it does mean that deck is probably going to have a harder time in this current meta because, number one, the healing is decreased, but also, as we talked about earlier, a bunch of the aggro decks are getting buffed. So it also might just mean that the Nissa OTK deck has to kind of change up how it is constructed. Okay, this is kind of a crazy one for me. Giant Growth only giving +3/+2 instead of +3/+3. Everyone knows what to expect of going up green decks with open 2 mana. We want traps to be an effective card type, but the value is oversized compared to its cost. Knocking off health makes it less likely for the creature to survive the fight, and Giant Growth less of an auto include. I understand this. I think the trying to keep traps as, you know, kind of like a surprise, you know, is not really going to be common, especially with people kind of knowing decks. I'm also kind of sad that, you know, Giant Growth no longer kind of is the quintessential like magic card. Giant Growth, if you're unfamiliar, was it was 1 mana, so it's not the same as the cost here, but it did give +3/+3 in Magic. So I would love to keep that symmetry, but yeah, this does make sense if this is what they're trying to achieve. Resilient Sphere. If your opponent plays a legendary creature, counteract going down to 1 mana. We've seen a proliferation of decks relying on the powerful legendary creatures like Karazakar and Tajik, which you just nerfed, and Strahd. Yep, that makes sense. Resilient Sphere should be an appealing card for those who are looking to fight back against these types of decks, but its narrow window of use means it sees almost no play. If you're taking the step to put this card into your deck, we want it to be effective. Yeah, but like no one is going to. I don't think this changes the card in any way. It's still a narrow card in a board-centric game that is best of 1. So like it's not likely that people are going to want to put this in their deck regardless of the cost. So yeah, I don't see this getting any increase in play. Pixie Trickster, going from a 1/2 to a 3/1. This was a 1/2 beforehand? Yeah, that seems crazy. It seems really bad. Let's see, making your opponent's creature into a frog can be pretty punishing, and you don't always have a small friendly creature to target, but buffing the stats on this card, by buffing the stats on the card, we expect to see more play in mid-range blue decks, as its aggressive stats makes it excellent for both dealing damage and trading with opponent's creatures like a frog. Okay, so just improving the overall stats of this card. I haven't really seen this card much, but cool. I don't know. We'll see if this card does anything. Icing Death was previously a 5/6 going to a 6/8. This is probably a good change. Icing Death doesn't have the stats to stand toe-to-toe with some of the other expensive creatures in the game with an ability that can be so situational. We wanted to make sure there was enough power so that if you just played it as a 8-mana flyer, that you got your money's worth. Makes sense to me. Good stuff. Sadistic Mind Flayer. Debut, give another friendly creature a +4/+4 and destroy it at the beginning of this. Destroy it at the end of this turn is going to a 4/4 from a 2/3. So wow, that's an insane buff. Says conservative on this rate since it can pack a powerful punch, but the body is too weak to make it into decks. Okay. And other sacrifice desk cards in its cost range. So there are already some really good cards, they're saying, in the sacrifice decks. This card isn't making it in, they want it to, so they're buffing it. It's a lot of stats for one card, but yeah, it might still be okay. We'll see. All right, Sinister Southpaw, going up a mana cost, but getting an additional power. So some might call this an adjustment. I kind of call it a nerf. I think they're increasing the mana of the card, but trying to retain some type of powerful effect. Yes, Southpaw is a powerful tool to stay away. To stay ahead on board. We want to make it easier to come back from behind when facing slower decks and move this card up the curve. Sure. Cool. Old Gnawbones, getting an additional point of toughness. This card felt really, really weak when I saw it. Who's Educational Dragon New Tricks? Love that. It's funny. Has seen less play than expected, so increasing the survivability to make it more attractive for cards looking for explosive plays. Maybe this replaces Karazakar and Drist. It's 6 mana, but it can certainly do things. Sure. Cool. All right, so those are all of the balance changes. Wow. How many? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh my god, 22, 23, 24, 25. Count this as 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Oh my god, like, so over 30 different types of changes here. My dog is barking at me. Hi. Wow. Stop. Wow, so a lot of changes, a lot of different buffs and nerfs going on. I think I like most of the changes to the planeswalkers here, right? So like Ashiok getting a little weaker but still kind of retaining the core identity. Domri getting it like, you know, just a little bit of a nerf. Drizzt here getting a small nerf, relatively unaffected. I'm really excited to play Nahiri, really excited to play Teferi. Yeah, I think in general I'm positive about these changes. I think I like seeing a lot of changes rather than no changes or very minimal changes. So yeah. I don't want to see this all the time because oh my god, that was a lot. Yeah, let's take a look at the bug fixes or anything and see if there's anything noteworthy. Let's see. So we've adjusted the ladder. This is a whole bunch of nonsense. Players with a small difference in trophies should still see a difference in trophy wins and losses. This means that you should see a wide array of numbers when playing matches. Okay, so it sounds like they're just adding more variability in terms of wins and losses. Because previously it kind of seemed like if you won and lost, you didn't move anywhere, which really shouldn't be happening. If you have about a 50% win rate, you should expect to gain some amount of points, not a ton, right? But some you should expect to go up. This is kind of what we see in Magic, in pretty much any game with a ladder. Games like Hearthstone, games like Valorant have stated policies of like if you are saying if you're winning half your games, you should be ranking up. So yeah, any steps the game is taking to do that or make that a better experience, love that. Looks like that's it. They're adjusting the structure of many of the events. Special rules should be fast and fun break from the ladder, but instead felt grindy. Sure. In addition, once you choose your deck, you were locked into arena, couldn't switch to if it was poorly positioned for the event. In order to make the experience more enjoyable, we're adjusting the max win losses from 4-2 to 1-1. Win or lose, you can then adjust your deck and go back into the following events. So it sounds like for these events, it's no longer going to be win 4 games to get the full prize. It's going to be 1-1, so you just have to win 1 game and you get a prize. Okay, so winning, yeah, and entering into the event is 500. Winning it gets you back that 500 plus an additional 300 gold. I don't think it's particularly worth it personally, but if y'all like that, go ahead. We're also adjusting the bannings for the following events. Domri's now banned in Gideon's Day Out. Ashiok's now banned in BattleBots. Yeah, that one kind of makes sense. I don't know why people were like, yeah. Oh, here's some bug fixes. So some language stuff again. Flavin having an error message, returning to the arena with Relentless. Okay, there's just some general bug fixes. Something with Matron Malice was returning to the arena and shouldn't. Okay, interesting. Fix a bug where plot creates 2 mana gems but only causes the ability to heal the player for 1. Okay, I think this was something that I had noticed, right? Where I thought that plot should give us 2 life, as well as the Nissa creature, right? Drawing us an additional 2 cards. It should be fixed, hopefully. Fix a bug where the... This was a bug? Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Oh my god, I'm so happy about that. Okay, so Karazakar's Steel Ray used to be able to steal powers with power from creatures with 0 power. That seemed crazy to me. I love that that's gone. We heard about this bug changed. Fix a bug where it can be played after sacrificing your creature to the throne. Oh, I think I saw my opponent do this, right? Okay, that makes sense. Fix the bug where the board created by process from the sacrifice can't be used the turn it's summoned. Okay, so I'm fixing some artifact stuff. All right, these all seem fairly chill. We're ongoing abilities of a stolen. Oh, okay. So some stuff of the unicorn, the increased healing, still applying to the original controller. Mindless rage deals damage based on the opponent's strength. Okay, that's interesting. Fix the bug where mystic weapons do not count as upgrades. So mystic weapons do count as upgrades. Okay, good to know. Okay, so these are actually some nice changes. I'm really happy about this one. That was pretty crazy. This is actually, sorry, I don't know if I talked about this, but Major Malice coming back sometimes when she shouldn't have. I don't remember that happening. I know there are some cases where I maybe wasn't paying attention and I was like, oh, it comes back. But maybe there were some times in some of my earlier games where that was happening. So cool. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Very exciting. Very exciting that the game kind of always feels fresh and that the developers are taking this kind of time to do all of this. So cool. Takeaways. Nahiri, very probably going to see an uptick in play. I'll keep my eye out for Ashiok and Ingrath and see where those planeswalkers end up. But yeah. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. I know this was kind of long. There was a lot of changes, but thanks for sticking with me here. Remember, if you enjoy my content, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. You can also catch me live here, twitch.tv/rock0098. We play Spellslingers starting at about 8 Eastern time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.